The Fox's City. Children's book by Tuula Pere. Summary. Francis the Fox has great plans for the future. Leaving his den behind, he marches to the city in his shiny boots to meet the mayor, William the Wolf. When the old wolf mayor goes on a fishing trip on a deserted island, Francis talks him into letting Francis serve as substitute mayor. But Francis's greed for power and actions quickly makes city residents uneasy. There's something suspicious going on in the library attic, and the city's carrier pigeons have disappeared mysteriously. Will Francis ruin the upcoming soccer match with a rival team? And will it be a friendly match as always before? Pages 2 and 3. A young fox called Francis liked to roll stones down the mountainside towards the city. From a rocky ledge, he watched the view that opened up before him, making big plans for his future. "When I get older, I will move to the city," Francis decided. "My home village is way too small for a grand talent like me." Indeed, Francis was a fox, quite unlike any other. He had a sharp look, a keen sense of smell, and a quick wit, but he lacked many important qualities. For one thing, he couldn't imagine how other animals felt, and even if he could have imagined others' feelings, it's doubtful he would have cared about them very much. "One day, that city and the whole world will get to see what I'm made of," he boasted. Then he pushed down a stone, one bigger than ever before. Pages 4 and 5. At home, there were 7 cubs, and Francis was the middle one. His parents took good care of the whole litter and loved all their young ones equally. Francis, however, felt that he didn't get enough food or attention. Above all, he thought he didn't have enough toys, clothes, or other things. "But Francis, you don't need much more," his mother often sighed. "Your closets and drawers are already crammed. I don't think you even remember all the things you have." "But Mother, I must have a faster bike," the young fox insisted. "I want to defeat my brothers and sisters in a bike race. Then I'll beat all the children of the village." Pages 6 and 7. Day by day, the mother fox grew a little more worried. She finally called on Dr. Owl. The animals of the mountain village often sought his advice. "I don't know what to do," Mother Fox lamented. "Francis is growing more difficult every day. At first, he used to bully only small children. He'd take their toys and their snacks, but now he's going at everyone." "Aren't the bigger children fighting back?" Dr. Owl asked. "The Bear brothers are so strong. You'd think Francis would be careful not to make them angry." "My dear owl friend, I'm afraid you don't understand. Francis has become quite sly. The other children don't always notice how he gets his way." Pages 8 and 9. Indeed, there hardly existed a trickster smarter than Francis. His animal playgroup went completely haywire because of the stunts he pulled. As Francis grew slyer, the way the children played together changed. No more hide-and-seek or ball games, or putting up tree houses or building little dams in the brook. Francis divided the children into 2 teams. He picked the biggest, fastest, and most skilled children for his own team. The other side was left with the smallest, weakest, and slowest children. At first, the other animal children tried to resist him, but little by little, they submitted to his will. Eventually, everyone wanted to be on Francis's team, as it always won and took all the prizes. If anyone tried to go up against him, he easily broke them down. His opponents were in for unpleasant surprises, like a mysteriously deflated bike tire or a damaged treehouse. Sometimes castles in the sandbox were trampled down by someone wearing big boots. The footprints were exactly the same size as the playgroup leader's shoes, but no one could accuse her, could they? Pages 10 and 11. The mild winds of spring were replaced by the scorching summer sun, and bit by bit the autumn rains gave way to the fierce storms of winter. Then it was spring again. Francis was no longer a young fox boy, but a grown-up now. He studied his image in the full-length mirror, pleased with what he saw. Standing upright, he puffed out his chest and lifted his chin slightly. "It's time for me to leave the den," Francis announced. "I will head to the big city by the sea." "Take good care of yourself, dear son," his mother said, quickly wiping away her tears. "And don't forget us here in your home village." "Bye then," Francis called out cheerily and set off. His mind was already on all the new opportunities and adventures that awaited him, and he didn't even look back. Pages 12 and 13. When Francis was close to the big city, he sat down on a stone for a while. He picked up a leaf and rubbed his boots till they shone and wiped away dust from his fur. It was important to look neat, as he was planning to apply for a job in the mayor's office. Surely old William the Wolf would have use for such a clever young assistant. Francis was definitely someone who could make things happen. The old wolf had been a mayor for a long time already. Under his leadership, the city by the sea had grown and developed. The inhabitants were very pleased. Now, in his shiny boots, Francis stepped inside William the Wolf's office and offered his services. "I guess it's true that I am getting a bit old and a bit tired," admitted the wolf mayor. "Quite so, Francis agreed. "I'm sure a little vacation on a secluded island would do you good. Meanwhile, I can take care of all the city affairs." "Perhaps you are right. Erasmus, who works in the city library, will act as your guide. He's been my trusted friend ever since I can remember," William the Wolf said. "We can use the carrier pigeons to keep in contact." Francis privately sneered at this. There were going to be a lot of changes in the city, and in Francis's plans, there was certainly no room for any librarians or carrier pigeons. Pages 14 and 15. The old wolf mayor walked slowly towards the boat, waiting for him. He could already picture the relaxing days ahead on the peaceful island. At last, he would have all the time in the world to go fishing and rest in a hammock afterwards, admiring the evening sun. The residents of the city had gathered along the street to wave goodbye to the wolf, who had never before taken any long leave from his job. William waved at both sides of the street, smiling at everyone. The van loaded with the mayor's luggage was approaching the harbor, too. Francis walked briskly ahead of the van. With his chin slightly lifted, he gazed at the folk, imagining what it would be like if they had all come there for him. That day would come, too. Pages 16 and 17. After the mayor's departure, Francis went back to City Hall. He marched straight into the mayor's empty office and sat down on an office chair with a high back. After a moment of consideration, he started insistently ringing the bell on his desk. "What on earth took you so long?" Francis snapped at the clerk and all the office assistants who rushed into the room, alarmed. "You're not here for fun. You're here to work. We have loads of things to do, so take out your notebooks." The assistants hurriedly jotted down all the commands and plans, one after another. The clerk forwarded papers and instructions all around City Hall. He also attached messages to the carrier pigeons' feet to be delivered farther away. "How hopelessly slow and old-fashioned," Francis snorted at the clerk. "We must get rid of the pigeons. We shall need at least a dozen well-trained hawks to replace them. Order them from the mountains at once." "But the carrier pigeons are important. With their help, we can keep in touch with the mayor." The clerk chimed in. but the fox wasn't listening. Pages 18 and 19. A couple of days later, a carrier pigeon brought the first message from the island. Dear Francis, my holiday has started off nicely. I've caught a lot of fish and the winds are gentle. Please remember to take good care of the city and its inhabitants. Should you have any questions, you can always turn to my good friend Erasmus. If there's anything urgent, just send out a carrier pigeon with a message, and I will come back as soon as possible. With sunny regards to all. Your very own city mayor, William the Wolf. Francis glanced through the message hastily, scrunched it into a ball, and tossed it into the trash. A new plan was brewing in his mind. To execute it, he would have to get a couple of bird cages, some traps, and lots of delicious bird food. On top of it all, he would have to find a peaceful place where nobody went. Spinning in his office chair, the fox suddenly noticed the upper windows of the library, which was opposite City Hall. Was that an attic? Thanks. Actually, Francis thought smugly, tomorrow is the right time to pay a visit to Erasmus. Pages 20 and 21. In the morning, Erasmus stood on the library steps, waiting to meet the mayor's substitute. He was somewhat surprised by the fox's sudden interest in the library, but he obediently showed the fox around the building, all the way from the basement to the attic. I think I should have a key to the library, too, Francis declared at the end of the tour. I am, after all, the mayor's substitute, and I should have access to the library whenever I need it. I guess so, if you feel it's necessary, Erasmus murmured. He gave Francis a spare key. The following night, a dark figure hurried up and down the library steps, carrying bird traps and cages and bags full of bird food. From the ground, nobody noticed that some of the attic windows had been opened, nor did they see the trail of grains and other bird treats near the window sills, leading directly to the traps and cages. In just a few days, all of the city's carrier pigeons had been locked away in the library attic. Pages 22 and 23. The city soccer team was getting ready for a major game. Erasmus was the treasurer of the club, and he had come to meet with the fox to talk about arrangements. The city bustled with preparations, getting the soccer stadium ready, making rooms available to accommodate visitors, cooking food for the crowds, and decorating the streets. "We have to win this game," declared the fox. "Oh, what a spectacular party we'll then have to celebrate our victory. I shall give an inspirational speech, standing on a high podium. What a shame, though, that the visiting team is in such a good condition." But isn't continuing the old tradition what really counts? Erasmus tried to calm the fox down. He, too, was a great fan of soccer, but he knew how to enjoy the game even without winning. "Of course not," the fox snorted. "What counts is to get a landslide victory and the biggest possible trophy. That's how we take home all the glory." Pages 24 and 25. Erasmus shook his head and returned to the peace and quiet of the library. The fox was left alone, making his high-flying plans and stopping at nothing. The temporary city mayor issued an order that the visiting team must conduct its pre-game training at a small sports facility located at the outskirts of the town. The building's water pipes were being renovated, and the grass field was also under repair. As for the home team, the fox placed them in a shiny new sports hall just next to the newly fixed stadium. To guarantee the team's success, he added 6 coyotes from a nearby city who were known for their aggressive play. According to the rules, all players were supposed to be permanent residents of their city's team. so the new mayor built barracks for the coyotes next to City Hall. Now, no one has anything to complain about. The fox smiled, pleased with himself. We have followed every rule strictly by the book. Pages 26 and 27. In the week before the match, the fox spent every minute planning the victory celebrations. He didn't want to waste any time sleeping or even eating. His fur got matted. He had dark circles under his eyes, and his plans grew all the more bizarre. All city residents must wear matching outfits. Everyone will be given a new collar, which will have the coat of arms of the city stamped on it. The fox was very excited. Actually, instead of the coat of arms, it will have my picture. After all, I'm the official acting mayor. It then occurred to the fox that all the residents should be called together for a rehearsal where they would learn some new cheers. On top of rooting for the home team, the crowd could rehearse another cheer. "Long live the fox, our great leader and friend of soccer." Pages 28 and 29. Erasmus was getting truly worried. He had tried to adjust to the new mayor's endless demands, but he drew the line at the fox's ridiculous plans for a victory celebration. This is hardly the kind of party Mayor Wolf would want us to have, Erasmus thought. I wonder if he even knows what's going on here. The librarian sat alone in the silent library. Thanks to the fox's demands, no one had time to come to borrow any books. As Erasmus mulled over the strange situation, something caught his attention. The building was not completely silent after all. From somewhere above, he could hear odd humming sounds. It was as if a large kettle were boiling on the stove. Erasmus went to search for the source of the sound. He checked every room, one after another, and finally took the stairs up to the attic. The sound was getting louder. Now it sounded like cooing. Pages 30 and 31. Erasmus pushed open the heavy door to the attic. He couldn't believe his eyes. The whole space was filled with caged carrier pigeons. The mayor's pigeons were among them, the city's coat of arms hanging from collars around their necks. "I'm starting to get the big picture," Erasmus said. "I must send a carrier mail to the old mayor quickly. This puts an end to his vacation." Soon an official carrier pigeon took wing from the window, heading towards the holiday island. Erasmus hurried to feed the rest of the imprisoned birds, and then he yanked open the doors of all the cages. Outside, city residents wondered why a flock of carrier pigeons was flying restlessly over the library and City Hall. Pages 32 and 33. William fumed. His holiday mood had vanished the moment he read the urgent message from Erasmus. This was something he hadn't expected, even though he had to admit that the young fox had appeared somewhat overzealous. "Let's take our most important luggage to the boat and get going," the old wolf said to his wife. "Getting our city back on track can't wait. I will have plenty of time to go fishing later." By afternoon, the wolf leader was back in his office. He made his substitute sit in front of his desk and demanded an explanation. The fox lavishly described all his accomplishments, making every attempt to present his actions in a favorable light. "Say what you like," the wolf snapped. "You've become sick with power. It's a bad disease. I feel I should send you off to the island to get better." Pages 34 and 35. In the end, however, the wolf's heart softened. The fox was allowed to watch the final soccer match and sit next to the mayor in the grandstand. But the fox wasn't allowed to make any speeches, and all the city residents were free to wear their own clothes. The fox was annoyed to find out that the coyotes he had acquired as reinforcements were not allowed to play for the home team. The wolf would not give in, no matter how hard the fox tried to persuade him. "In this city we play fair," the old mayor declared. "But I've found something for your coyotes to do. Look over there." Pages 36 and 37. The coyotes had run onto the field to give a gymnastic performance. Being so big and broad-shouldered, they formed an impressive pyramid and had no trouble in powerlifting each other. Even though it was a spectacular show, Francis couldn't quite hide his disappointment. He would have rather seen the coyotes climb to the podium after the match, with gold medals around their necks. The young fox's dreams were shattered to bits for good when the visiting team won the tight match by 1 goal. The fox's shoulders drooped. "Come now, Francis, it's just a game," the old wolf consoled him, "and next year there will be another friendly match. Cooperating and playing together is what really matters." You have listened The Fox's City of the Francis the Fox series, a children's book by Dr. Tuula Pere, published by Wickwick, read aloud by Jessica, Virtual Voices of Wickwick Labs.